Okay, guys, let's go through this. This is just a quick review of we did this in second term. So we talked about there's some vocabulary in here you may have forgotten, and when we get to the harder problems, you may have forgotten a few things. We're going to work on reviewing that. Make sure you're strong when you get through it. Okay, so it's following. We're going to look for like terms. Remember, we're talking about apples and apples. You know, lions and puppies. Don't put lions and puppies together, right? Okay, so just remember that when we talk about this, we're looking to make sure are they like terms. Well, this is a 5y and a 5k. Well, the fives are the same, but the variables are what determine lions and puppies, right? And so we have y's and k's, so that one's not it. They're not the same. Okay, so that one can't be it. And then this one has ax, and this one just has an a. So the x is missing off of the 13a, so we can't consider that one. And then this one, you got to remember that 19b squared is 19 times b times b. And this is only one of those b's. So this can't be it. And this one has 11mn, and this has 11nm. Well, if we use commutative property, m times n is the same thing as n times n. Just like 4 times 3 gives us the same result as 3 times 4. Okay? All right, so that one works. And then this is 7z and 17z. They're both z's. So now that we know those are common, they're like terms, so we could say 11mn plus 16mn. Well, that means we have 11 mn's and 16 mn's, so we're going to have 11 plus 16 times mn, which means we're going to have 27 mn. And we generally write these in alphabetical order and we're going to call it ascending order or descending order. We're going to write usually the expressions in descending order. Okay. Okay, and so then if I looked at these two, well, they both just have a z. So if I looked at these two, I would look and say, well, what's 7z plus 17z? That's going to be 24z. Because we're just talking about how many z's. It's like saying, how many zebras do you have? I have 7 zebras and I have 17 zebras. It doesn't mean you have 24 zebras squared. It just means you have 17 zebras. Okay, unless we're multiplying. And that's genetic, so we won't go into that. Okay, so when we look at this, it says, which of the following correctly simplifies the expression? Well, again, we have 8 yarrows and 3 yarrows, right? So we're going to have 11 yarrows. So this is going to be 11y. That's the only correct answer. The mistake here would have been somebody mistakenly didn't understand that the y's don't add up. And so we have 8 y's and 3 y's. So really what we're saying is you have 8 y's. So there's 8 y's, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you have 3 y's. How many y's do you have altogether? Well, there's 11 y's. Okay. And the mistake here would have been to multiply the 8 and the 3. And here we would have multiplied the 8, the 3, and the 2 y's times each other. And we're not. We're adding. That's the key right there, is we're adding. Now, if that was a multiplication sign, which we didn't talk about how to do, then C would be the right answer. But the only one that's the right answer here is D. So now we're kind of in that mix of it. We're going to combine like terms. We're going to put our puppies together with puppies and our lions together with lions. We're not going to put lions and puppies together because that's just a scary thought. Okay, so we look at this and I have all R's. So I can just use my operations. I'm going to try to always make it addition so things are simpler to see. And really what we're saying is we have 3 plus 6 plus 8 times r. All three of those are being multiplied times r. So 3 plus 6 is 9 plus 8. This is 17r. Okay, so when I look at this one, I'm going to look at and say, well, I have my x's and I have my y's, right? So I'm only going to combine like terms. So I'm going to take and put my x's, give myself a new color for that. So if I have 12x, and we talked about if it's addition, we can use commutative property. So I'm going to have 12x plus 15x, and then I'm going to have the 5y plus the 8y. Now again, I'm going to keep lines. I'm trying to separate things, right? I'm not trying to put lions and puppies together. Okay, so now I'm going to look at this, and this gives me 12 plus 15, that's 27x. And then this is 5 plus 8, which is 13y. And I have to know when to stop, okay? So this is where you stop. You would be incorrect if you gave yourself an answer of 40xy. That is not the answer. You have to know when to stop. Talked about in class, some of you know somebody that they just don't know when to stop and they keep going until they get their mom mad or maybe, and some of you even admitted you were that person. I was probably that person when I was your age. Okay, you got to know when to stop. That's the scary part, okay? Okay, so this next problem, what it builds off of is we talked about, I taught you to turn everything into addition. Okay, and the reason why we talk about turning everything into addition is if I have 4 minus 3, that equals 1. That is not the same thing as 3 minus 4. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. But if I rewrote 4 minus 3, if I rewrote that as 4 plus negative 3, I would get the same result. This would give me 1, this would give me 1. And now that I've turned this to addition, I can commute. Okay, because I know that 4 plus 3 equals 7 and 3 plus 4 equals 7. So, and that works with any number as long as it's addition. Doesn't matter if they're negatives or positives, as long as it's addition. So I can rewrite this as negative 3 plus 4, and I still get positive 1. So when I'm looking at these problems, like if I look at this one right here, okay, and drag this down, I'm going to rewrite this as an addition problem. So that means I'm going to take this and make this addition, and I've got to make this the opposite. I'm going to make this addition, which means this becomes negative 9p. And now what I can do is I can combine like terms because I can move things. Okay, just like we explained over here, you can't get the same answer by moving it unless it's addition. So now I can move these. So now I can say, well, I have my p's are here and my r's are here. So if I'm going to start with my p's, I'm going to say here's 17p, and this is plus negative 9p. And my r's, I have negative plus negative 6r plus 14r. Okay, now what I'm going to do is combine like terms. That means I'm going to have 17 plus negative 9 times p. And I'm going to have that plus negative 6 plus 14r. Well, 17 plus negative, this is where you have to be careful. You want to remember that number line situation. If I'm adding negative 9, I'm going to go to the left from 17, which means I'm adding negative 9, which means I'm going to go to the left. It means I'm going to wind up at 8. This is going to be 8p plus negative 6 plus 14 is 8. So, and 8r. So, and I can't put these two together. This can't be 16pr. I have to know when to stop, and that's where I stop. So that's my final answer. If you got 16pr, you don't understand what we taught you. Okay, so you need to get some help and some more practice. Okay. Look at this problem. The first thing I notice is it's subtraction. I want to be able to commute. So the first thing I'm going to do on this problem is rewrite this as an addition problem, which means I have to go through and say, well, this is going to be plus negative 13b plus negative 3b. Okay, and so now what I have is I'm going to have, and if I look now, they're all b's. So I'm okay there. So really what I'm talking about is I have 18 b's plus negative 13 b's plus negative 3 times b. All of these times b. And so when I add these up, this is negative 16, and that's going to give me 2b. Now remember one of the things we talked about? If you want to check and see if your answer is right, all you got to do is plug in a value for the variable. So let's say I just say b equals 2. Okay, so that means I'm going to have 18b minus 3b minus 3, or 13b minus 3b. And this is a multiplication symbol right here, right? These are multiplied. So that means I'm going to have 18 times something minus 13 times something minus 3 times something. And if I've done my work right, then when I take this and I take this and I substitute 2 into b and I simplify both of them, they should come out to be the same thing. Because we're saying that that 18b minus 13b minus 3b is equivalent to 2b. So now I'm going to plug in a 2. So I put a 2 in here, and a 2 in here, and a 2 in here. And I'm going to check that to see if it's equal to 2 times, well, we said this was b, right? Okay, so this is going to be, we're going to have 36 minus 26 minus 6. So 36 minus 26 is 10, minus 6 is 4. And 2 times 2 is 4. Yep, these are equivalent when b equals 2. If b equals 3, they'll come out the same. They'll come out to be the same number, just not 4. But any number I plug, if these two are equivalent, when we solve an equation, we're trying to find the one number that makes that true. Here we're talking about it that no matter what number I put in, if I substitute that and evaluate that with b equaling 6, then I should come out with the same value on both sides. So if I looked and said, well, I'm going to have 18 times some number minus 13 times some number minus 3 times some number equals 2 times some number. And I said, I'm going to put a 6 in here. It's going to be a little big. Okay. So now when I look at this, 8 times 16, or 18 times 6 is going to be 108. And 13 times 6 is going to be 78. And 3 times 6 is going to be 18. And 2 times 6 is 12. So our question is, if we did this right, we plug a 6 in here, it should come out equivalent. Well, so now I look and say, well, this is going to, 108 minus 78 is 30, minus 18, well, that's 12. And this is 12, so yep, I've simplified correctly. This statement is true. Those are equivalent statements. So again, I mean, we've practiced this. So we talked about this one being Momma Kisses the Babies, right? If Mama doesn't kiss all the babies, someone's going to cry. If you don't make sure Mama kisses all the babies in this situation, you're going to cry because you're going to get it wrong. Now, we also talked about if we were to interpret this, what this means is we have 5 sets of 7 plus v. So that means we have 7 plus v, 7 plus v, 7 plus v, 7 plus v, 7 plus v. There's 5 sets of 7 plus v. If I look at this, that's 5 times 7 plus 5 times v, which 5 times 7 is 35, and I can't do any more with the v. And you can, at this stage, you could say this is equivalent, so you'd be all right. In 8th and 9th grade, they're going to expect that you're going to put this in descending order, which means this is v to the first, and that's v to the 0. So you're going to have 5v plus 35. That is the most correct way to do it. Okay, so this is what distributive property means. And what we talked about was we would take and say, well, we're going to have 5 times 7, because we're going to have Momma Kiss the Babies, right? Plus, we're going to bring that sign down. And then 5 times the v. And we talked about this being Mama, right? And these being the babies. And here you see the babies in the house, and there's Mama, right? And then we would simplify this to be 5 times 7 is 35, and 5 times v is just 5v, which simplifies to be this. Now, again, if we want to check and see if we're right, let's come up with a value for v. So v, let's say v is 5. Okay? So what we would do is simplify the original expression. The original expression was 5 times 7 plus v, right? And if we're looking at this, we said, let's make v equals, if v equals, we said 5, but let's make it 4. Okay, so then that means what we're going to have is 5 times 7 plus, and if v is 4, we'll put a 4 here. Now we have to follow order of operations, because if you're distributing wrong in the first place, if you distribute the 5 here wrong, you're going to make the same mistake. So we're just going to simplify this, which means we're going to have 5 times 7 plus 4 is 11, and then that's going to give us 55. And then we look at what we said what our solution was. We said our solution was that it was going to equal 5v plus 35. Okay, so we said that was going to be 5 times, we called v 4. So we're going to put 5 times 4 plus the 35. All right, and 5 times 4 is 20 plus the 35. And 20 plus 35 is 55. Okay, when we evaluate the original expression and we evaluate this expression with v equaling 4, they come out to be the same thing. So we know we have the correct answer. All we did right here was check our answer. Our answer is right here. That's our solution. Okay. Okay, so when we look at this one, again, we talked about Momma Kissing the Babies here. we talked about that if we look at this, one of the things we said, I said was, look, if Mama's in a bad mood, if she's negative, she distributes her negativity, right? Okay, so that's what we're going to have her do. She's going to distribute. She's going to come over here and over here. So we're going to have -7 times t plus, because we're just going to bring that sign down. We're bringing this here, plus -7 times 9. Okay, -7 times t is just -7 times t. And -7 times 9 is -63. And since this isn't the simplest form, this is an acceptable answer, but your simplest form would be -7t minus 63. Okay, because you got to take it all the way down. When your parents tell you they're going to simplify your life, that means they're going to take you down to the bare necessities, right? They're going to take some things away, but they're going to make everything as simple as it is. Fewest steps, fewest parts, fewest pieces. And that's what we're talking about here. We have the fewest number of pieces. So again, if I want to make sure I have it right, then I'm just going to check. I'm going to say, well, here I have -7t minus 63. And I started out with -7 times t plus 9. Okay. Now I'm going to evaluate both sides with t equaling 4. So if t equals 4, I'm going to have -7 times 4 minus 63. And that means I'm going to have -7 times 4 is -28 minus 63. And -28 minus 63 is going to be -91. Okay. Okay, so if I'm going to check the right side, I want to see if these two are equivalent, right? I'm not going to distribute the 7 because first of all, if I plug it in, it wouldn't be my order of operations. Second of all, I don't want to reproduce the mistake I made if I made a mistake. So I'm just going to rewrite this, -7 times, and we said t was going to be 4, and then plus 9. Okay, now I have to follow order of operations. So 4 plus 9 is 13. So that's going to be -7 times 13. And -7 times 13 is -91. Well, look, they are the same. So we could say that -7 times, in parentheses, t plus 9 is equivalent to -7t minus 63. That's our end goal. Right there, that's what we were after. Right here, that's what we're going for. This right here on the right here is just to check it. All we did down below here, all of this right here was just to check if this was the correct solution. -7t minus 63. Okay. All right. So now we're going to get to a little bit harder, but the next couple are just going to be distributive property. Okay, so when we look at this, again, we're just going to have Momma kissing the babies, right? So Momma is this 4, -4. We're going to make sure she kisses every baby. Before we start, we want to make everything addition. So I'm going to rewrite that as -4 times t plus -9. Okay, so now I'm going to distribute the -4. So I'm going to have -4 times t plus -4 times -9. Negative times a positive is a negative. So this is going to be -4t, because it can't get any more simple than that. Okay, and then I'm going to add, and a negative times a negative is a positive, and 4 times 9 is 36. Now, at this point, some of you are going to want to put lions and puppies together. So here's your lions, there's your puppies. Don't put them together. It's just always going to make you cry when you watch that happen. Okay? Don't put them together. Here you are. You leave that. You got to know when to stop. So stop right there. This is the end. Okay, and again, I can check because I can bring it down here and say, well, my original equation was -4 times t minus 9. Pick t equals 3. So over here I have -4 times, and I'm going to put a -3 in there, plus 36. This is going to be -12 plus 36, which is 24. Okay, now if I look at this side, I had -4 times t, I said, was 3, times 3 minus 9. 3 minus 9 is -6. So I'm going to have -4 times -6. Negative times a negative is a positive. 4 times 6 is 24. This side's 24. Okay, there we go. So we can say that -4 times t minus 9 is equivalent to -4t plus 36. Okay, so just to remember, this is our answer. Okay, that's what we simplified to. We didn't solve. Some of you will try and confuse that and put solve in. We're not going to solve. Okay? All right, so let's try. We tried the steps we talked about. First, write everything as addition, then distribute. Let's try one. Let's see if you can do this. Oh, look, there's no subtraction. So we're going to let you do that one. Go ahead and do that. Pause it, and let's see how you come out. Okay, so you should come out with 15b plus 24. Okay? Okay, so what's hard about this one? This one's scary because it has a fraction, right? Okay, but again, all we're going to do is distribute. We're going to take the 1/4, distribute it here, and 1/4 distribute it here. Okay, so I'm going to have 1/4 times 12x plus 1/4 times -8. Remember, because I had to change this to additions. This is going to be plus -8. Okay, well, so 1/4 of 12 is 3. So this is going to be 3x. And 1/4 of -8 is -2. So this is going to be plus -2. So the simplest answer here is going to be 3x minus 2. Okay. So they're asking you on this problem to look at it and determine what was their mistake. Okay. So this means you got to understand what you're doing a little bit. So, and this is the most common mistake because people forget, right? It says they have multiplied the wrong term in the sum by 6. They should multiply 7 instead of 4x by 6. Well, no, because what we should have done, I mean, just think about it. If you do it first, what would you do? You would have multiplied both by 6. So what should you have gotten for an answer? You should have gotten 6 times 4x plus 6 times 7, which is going to be 24x plus 42. What did they forget to do? They forgot this part right here. That's what they left out. They have multiplied 4x and 6 rather than adding them. No, you were supposed to multiply those, so that one doesn't work. They've added 4x and 6 rather than multiplying. No, because 4x and 6 would give you 24 if you multiply. If you added them, you'd get 4x plus 6. So that one's not right. So really, by elimination, we've looked and said, these two definitely aren't right, and they forgot to multiply the second part of the sum, 7. And it should be multiplied by 6. And that's it right there. That's the problem. Okay, so when you look at this, really what we're talking about, I mean, we talked about this being Momma Kissing the Babies. We went over this. This is probably the hardest thing you'll do. So if you have questions, come see me, but I'm hoping this video is going to help you out, put you in a place where you can be successful on this. Good luck.